No, thank you. Sleepy. You come back in an hour.
Need sleepy.
Please go away. Let me sleep for the love of God!
It's now time for the Billy C. Morning Show, part of the Billy C. Boxing Network. Interact with the show at BillyCBoxing.com.
And we're coming to you live from the Billy C. Studios in Lake George, New York. I'm Bill Calgero, and it's time for the Billy C. Morning Show. Good morning to everybody. Hope everybody's doing okay. Special shout out to all of our listeners on ESPN New Hampshire and Fight TV and your handheld apps, Fight.tv. That's FITE.TV. Today's show is being brought to you in part by Sal's Neighborhood Pizzeria and Italian Restaurant, and sometimes Italian language teaching schools. If you were on the show yesterday, you would know what I mean. But check it out, www.salsneighborhoodpizzeria.com, or give my man a call, 912-268-2328, 912-268-2328. And don't forget, if you're heading south, if you're a snowbird, if you will, don't forget it's 15 minutes out your way off of I-95. That includes a couple of lights. Trust me, worthwhile detour. That'll become a regular stop. Sal's Neighborhood Pizzeria and Italian Restaurant, numero uno. No doubt about that. www.salsneighborhoodpizzeria.com will show you all of the delicious food on the menu. Today's show is also being brought to us in part by my book. Tom Molyneux, From Bondage to Baddest Man on the Planet, is available right now where all good books are sold, and you can pick up a copy right now while you're watching or listening to the show by visiting barnesandnoble.com or amazon.com. If you're looking to get a signed copy, got a couple of options for you. Number one, go to our website, BillyCBoxing.com, and go into the book club section and follow the directions. There's a lot of other books in there, too, I recommend. Or if you are in upstate New York, in Glens Falls, New York, on November 6th, it's a Sunday, there's a book fair at the Queensbury Hotel, which is right in the heart of the city of Glens Falls. I will be there, along with a bunch of other authors at this book fair, signing books, talking boxing, selling my book at a discount price, and we'll get to hang out. I'll be there from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., so come on by, say hello, buy a book or two. Remember, the holidays are fastly approaching. It makes a great gift. Find out why we got a 5-star rating across the board. Find out about Tom Molyneux, why he's a piece of boxing history, American history, and most important, Black American history. Tom Molyneux, From Bondage to Baddest Man on the Planet. Get a copy today. Wow, it's a little infomercial. Couple of things, man. We're going to open up the phone lines in a little bit. We got no live show coming tomorrow. We'll be back Monday morning, but no live show tomorrow. So we're going to open up the phone lines in a little bit to hear your thoughts. Some news. Tyson Fury vacates his titles. I got some quotes from him and his promoter. Adrian Broner. Police had to go check it out, make sure he was okay. He was on social media alluding to the fact that he was going to commit suicide. Says he can't take it anymore. Danny Garcia. He's fighting Samuel Vargas for what they're calling a tune-up fight. You know, when do world champions fight tune-up fights? I don't know. Fighters just don't fight anymore. And the WBA had that. Remember when Daniel Jacobs, who's trying every which way to get out of the fight with Triple G that the WBA has ordered, lost his argument trying to get the WBA to change their purse splits, and Triple G, basically won that little battle. WBA said, hey, this is our rule, and that's the way it is. My question now is, will Daniel Jacobs punk out of the fight with Triple G like everybody else? The guy that calls him out, a guy that says he wants to fight him, a guy that says he wants to prove that he's the best middleweight, now he's going to punk out. That's what I think. But joining me right now, we'll get his thoughts on the punk out Daniel Jacobs. Daniel Garcia, or I should say Daniel Jacobs and Danny Garcia fighting a tune-up fight, and Tyson Fury vacating his belts. We'll get Sal Rocky Senecola's thoughts, and Sal joins us right now. What's up, Sal?
Man, do you know how hard it was to keep my mouth shut as you're just making me salivate over here like a pit bull ready to grasp his meat there. I can't believe it. I can't believe what is going on with these freaking so-called warriors that are I don't even want to go there.
They're not warriors. They're not warriors.
Jacob Bull, rhetoric, and crap, and Tyson Fury. This is... I don't even forget about it.
You know, the term warrior, I don't know if we can really use that anymore. I don't know if we can use that anymore. I mean, don't get me wrong.
No.
They're warriors to a degree by getting in a ring and using their hands to fight. But the warrior, in a sense, which from the historical point of view of the sport, is long gone. I mean, now it's safety first. Let's start off with Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury vacates his belts, and he I don't know. I mean, I don't know if I support this, if I don't support it. I really don't know. I think I'm going to have to think about this, but check this out. He says, and I quote, this is Tyson Fury, "I feel that it's only fair and right and for the good of boxing to keep the titles active and allow the other contenders to fight for the vacant belts that I proudly won and held as the undefeated champion of the world when I defeated the long-standing champ, Vladimir Klitschko. I won the titles in the ring, and I believe that they should be lost in the ring. But if I'm unable to defend them at this time, and I've taken the hard and emotional decision to now officially vacate my treasured world titles and wish the next in-line contenders all the very best as I now enter another big challenge in my life, which I know, like against Klitschko, I will conquer." His promoter, Sal, says
Yes.
Tyson will still be the linear world heavyweight champion in everyone's eyes. He beat the most dominant champion in the modern era in an amazing fight in Germany to earn that accolade that will never change. While it's heartbreaking to see Tyson vacate the world titles that he worked so hard and long for all his life, what's paramount now is that he receives the medical treatment along with the love of his family and friends and the support of the boxing world in order to make a full recovery. I don't know what to get at this. First of all, the guy, I mean, are they, I guess they're really playing the role of he's got a serious drug problem and he needs to go into rehab, so give up all the titles. However, I'm still the linear champ. It's the same line that Golden Boy used with Canelo Alvarez when he ducked Triple G. What's your thoughts on this? I mean, is Tyson doing the right thing here, or is this just more smokescreen BS?
Excuse me, I just got to get another Kleenex. What the tear in my eye?
You got tears in your eye. I almost started feeling one welled up too. I mean, you're right.
I started getting that welling up, that warm and fuzzy, sensitive side of myself, and but you know what? Bull, forget about it. You know what? No, that's done. Put the Kleenex away. Give me a break.
What do you think? You think he's doing the right thing? I mean, is it truly the best thing for Tyson Fury to vacate the titles? I mean,
Yeah, ultimately, yeah. You know what? I think so. Because you know what? If he's unable to defend his championship and hold those titles, the heck with the linear champion and everything else that he's going to be wanting to hold on to. And you know what? Let the guy go. Let everybody else who tries to keep clean, wants to fight for the championship, is the best out there in today's era. Let them fight for the world title. And if Klitschko could ever, if Fury can ever bring himself up, put his man pants back on, step in the ring clean, and earn another shot at the championship, maybe with a few tune-up fights, then he can go out there and fight for his championship again that he had to relinquish because he was unable to defend in a timely manner.
Well, I think that Tyson Fury should ride off into the sunset. You know, I mean,
That's what I'm basically saying.
well,
you called it again. And your clairvoyant hat that you wear, and Nostradamus. You know what? If Johnny Carson was still on, you should be the new what's the guy? He was the guy with the envelope in the head and he had the turban. That was Johnny Carson. Carmack, the magician.
I should be. I'll be more like the guy on WOR. Remember the guy? Dan, 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 dan.
Yeah. He was great.
And he did nothing. He did sort of. He did dan, 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 dan. I'm doing it now. Like you can't see.
He made a career out of it. And he points to things.
That guy was funny. But anyway, you know what? Listen. I think Tyson Fury is going to want to fight again. I think that he should just stay away at this point. But in all honesty, there'll always be a blemish, that he had to vacate his titles. He had a cocaine problem, et cetera, et cetera. It would be, I guess, good for him to, beat that addiction or whatever, and then come back and win his titles back. I mean, it would be a great story, but I don't know. So Tyson Fury vacating his belts. Now, here's a couple other things I wanted to throw at you before we read some emails. First of all, Triple G and Daniel Jacobs. We all know that Daniel Jacobs was calling out Triple G, and Triple G said, all right. And Daniel Jacobs said, "Oh wait a minute. We should have a couple of tune-up fights." And Daniel Jacobs and Triple G says, "No, we're ready to fight now." And Daniel Jacobs then says, "Oh no, wait. I need to get more money." And then Triple G says, "Well, you're going to get what the WBA says." And then Daniel Jacobs says, "Oh no, wait. Let's try and change the WBA rules." And then the WBA says, "No, we're not going to change the rules, Danny. You got to fight by the rules." So now here we are. You know what I always say: wherever you go, there you are.
There you go. There we are.
So the 30-day negotiation period expired. It's over. So now it's technically going to go to a purse bid. My question to you is, and it's obviously Daniel Jacobs is trying to outprice himself. It's easy to say I want to fight you, Sal, but then if I want $50 gazillion and then say, oh, Sal didn't want to fight me. You leave that part out. My question is Daniel Jacobs going to punk out and run like a scared little bitch away from Triple G like everybody else? Or is he going to man up and fight like you're supposed to fight? I mean, he's entitled to 25% of the purse split. That's the rules of the belt that he wears. What's your thoughts?
The rules are the rules. And let me tell you something. I would fight Triple G for free right now if I could, because I wanted a chance to step into the ring with the greatest to see if I could beat the greatest. And I don't care if it's on his terms. Oh, I'm sorry. Am I sounding like a warrior? Maybe like a fool, but the bottom line is, that's the bottom line. If you think you could beat somebody, the money will follow. The belts will follow. Shut up or put up and get in the ring, and don't whine when you can't get a fight. The bottom line is he should get in the ring. The rules are the rules. If he really thinks he could beat Triple G, this is all the rhetoric and all the crap that he should not have to go through, or put the fans, or put the promoters, or put the Triple G through, because he's just signed a contract, set a date, get in the ring, and then let's see what he can do if he put his fist where his mouth is.
Danny Garcia.
He's punking out.
Danny Garcia, a guy that everybody's been waiting to fight. I mean, and listen, I want to start off by saying I was a huge fan of Danny Garcia. There's no question. I followed his career very early on. He's been on the show a couple of times. As a matter of fact, he had promised once he became a world champion that he would come back to the show, and he's never done that because he thinks who he is all of a sudden. But, everybody's, Danny Garcia's going to fight again. They finally announced it yesterday. He is going to fight again. November 12th. Now, remember, he's a world champion. He's a welterweight world champion. And he's undefeated. And he's a guy that pounds his chest saying that he deserves a shot at Floyd Mayweather if Floyd Mayweather comes out of retirement and all of this stuff. They named his opponent, Samuel Vargas. Now, no disrespect to Samuel Vargas, but this is not a world champion caliber fighter. Now, granted, this fight is a non-title fight. But my question is, despite Danny Garcia not fighting for a little bit, this is being billed as a tune-up fight. I'm lost for words. I mean, why do fighters that supposedly move up the ranks like Danny did, achieve world title status? I'm not even going to say become world champion anymore because there's so many of them in the same weight class. But he achieves world champion status, and he schedules a fight. But now all of a sudden it becomes a tune-up fight. I mean, the world champions. What do you think, Sal?
It really breaks my heart. I was on the phone yesterday talking with one of my old friends who's a big boxing enthusiast, and we were discussing yesterday's fighters. I'll tell you, I was talking to my buddy Jerry Palmieri. He's like a 4-time Golden Glove champion. I talked about him. He's now the head strength training coach of New York Giants, and he outlined my training program that allowed me to be able to punch bell to bell for 10 rounds, nonstop. This guy, I can't speak enough. And we were talking about the same thing, the throwback. And Jerry also is in our corner with the way the Warriors. Oh, I'm sorry, I said that word again. Warriors were yesterday versus today. It's like they want to be pampered. They got to be coddled. They got to be everything else but fighting in the ring and just getting the damn bell to ring and going out there to prove it. And we were looking at 1 year how he.
Sal, you're breaking up really bad. You better get to a better section with that phone because
how's this?
That's better. That's better. Yeah.
I sat up. I was leaning over before. Now I'm sitting up straight. Thank you very much. I'm going to wait to come out to the bell in the middle of the ring. But anyway, the truth of the matter is, we were discussing like the Warriors of yesteryear, like Muhammad Ali, how in 1 year he fought maybe Kenny Norton, Ernie Shavers, this one, that one, Joe Frazier again. And, this is all in a span of 1 year. He fought 4 world-class fighters. And now you're looking at these guys twice a year, maybe 3, or once, or 2 years. It's just a different mindset, different animal. They're spoiled prima donnas, and they think they can come in, state their case, and make it happen, set a precedent, and then go on and change rules. No way. You know what? Go in the ring, fight, do your craft justice, and make it happen. Give the fans what they've always been able to expect from the sport of boxing. And that's two of the best fighters getting in the ring.
This is the problem with the sport. First of all, the good news is it's a PBC promotion, and it will air on Spike TV, that's good news. The other part that's somewhat good news is that the claim here is that Garcia is getting in fight shape, tune-up shape, if you will, against Samuel Vargas, so that they can have a showdown with Keith Thurman sometime in January or February of 2017, which are 2 PBC fighters, and I think that would help them big time, the PBC series. But my point here, Sal, is that why is it in boxing that when there's a good fight, and let's be real, Danny Garcia against Keith Thurman is a good fight. It's not Pacquiao against Mayweather. It's not Porter against Thurman. It's not Ali Frazier. I mean, it's a good matchup with 2 so-called champions in the same weight class under the same promoter, etc. And it's a fight that should happen. But they're doing the old marination process again. Oh, let's make the fans wait. Why are boxing fans expected to wait such a long time for good fights to finally materialize to a point where the bell rings and they're actually in the ring fighting? Don't you think that the sport and these promoters that do this are actually rolling the dice to lose a fan base because of the extended time that we have to wait for these fights to happen?
Yes and no. I mean, if we are fair on all level playing fields, we saw some of the greatest rematches. We also had to wait a little bit to see Roberto Duran and Sugar Ray Leonard to come in with the trilogy fight, even though they had a faster rematch. The Hearns, Leonard, there were a few others out there. But certainly, the Frazier-Ali series. But, it wasn't like we had to sit and wait. We licked our chops. The promoters talked about it, and the fans demanded it. I think today what's happening is, even though the fans may demand it, the promoters and the networks and everybody else aren't really heeding to the fans' agenda. They're being blatant about it, and they're looking at their own agenda. Whether you're salivating or going to lose interest, they are risking, and they are throwing the dice, and they are gambling a little bit. Because I don't think the class of fighters today really can mirror what they were in the 70s and even 80s, comparatively to what the sustained interest of the game is today. And it hurts. I'm sorry to hear it and see it. But, that's exactly what you said. They're making the fans have to wait. And how much can fans endure? Well, like I said, Billy, you and I, we're lifelong boxing fans. We're going to be frustrated. We're going to chew at the bit, but we're going to come back to the well. And I'm sure a lot of other people out there surely will too. However, the secondary or tertiary fan, they'll lose interest. They'll go to MMA. They'll go to something else. But boxing has its hardcore fans that'll never walk away.
Don't call me Shirley.
Get
your Kleenex ready because
you're a funny guy.
Get your Kleenex ready because I want to tell you what's going on with poor Adrian Broner. Now, Adrian Broner.
Oh, wait. This is the guy that asked for fan mail. Was in jail?
Yeah, that's the guy. But here's the thing. In all due respect to Adrian Broner.
Please, tie a yellow ribbon around my old oak tree.
Tie a yellow ribbon around my bar number 7 in my. But here's the thing. Adrian Broner, when he first hit the scene. These
guys are emotional wimps today. Go ahead.
Hit the scene, and I mean, after he had a couple of building up bouts, and he hit the prime time, as we would say. I loved him. I thought he was extremely talented, and I'm like, oh man, this is exactly what I want. I said I thought he was like Floyd Mayweather, except aggressive. That he did engage, and he was exciting. Then at some point in time, Adrian Broner. I must have lost his mind because, he started being really pushing the envelope, and he became a fighter and a human being that people just began to dislike. I mean, he was very hard to like. And then he got into the trouble, and we all know that, and he was doing a lot of stupid stuff. Well, yesterday, apparently, Adrian Broner's friends and family was so worried that he was going to commit suicide after he was posting some stuff, apologizing to his family and friends, saying, I don't want to be here no more. This shit too much, meaning his life. He posts a picture of a handgun inside his car saying, I'm going home. I love y'all, and pretty much painting a picture that he's going to, whack himself, and everybody. Well, listen, everybody calls the police department, Cincinnati Police, and the Cincinnati Police was kind enough, which really shows you how the world has changed. The Cincinnati Police Department was kind enough to issue a tweet at all of the people associated with Adrian Broner, saying that the Cincinnati Police Department is aware of the concerns regarding Adrian Broner. We've looked into this and made contact. All is well. Thank you for your concern. Now, what is this?
Wait, one question. Did you hear from Donald Trump? Did he tweet in on
No. Donald Trump is too busy.
It's not real.
No, Donald Trump is too busy grabbing the privates of the women and saying, "Hey, I'm a superstar. I get to do what I want to you." So he's too busy. His hands are full right now. His hands are full right now, Sal. They're full with a couple of D cups. But anyway. What's your thoughts on this latest Adrian Broner move?
I'm sorry, Bill. You know, I hate to reflect back to movies because, you know, life imitates art, art imitates movies. But all I can see is Don Corleone in the room with Johnny Fontaine saying, "What do you call you do? You can start acting like a man," and slapping him silly.
That's right. That's right.
I can't believe this. I can't believe these emotional wimps are out there crying out, creating drama, looking for attention. You want attention? Get in the freaking ring and fight. But if this is too much for your simple mind to bear, then you know what? Look for another career. Become a ditch digger or something else you think you can handle.
Well, you know, the problem is, remember, that fighters of today don't...
And that's whoa. And I meant no disrespect to any ditch digger out there, because I know that's hard-ass work, and I've dug a few ditches in my day.
I've went out with a couple of bitches. Oh, did you say bitches or ditches? I said I went out with a couple of bitches. But
whoa.
No,
it was a D, not a B.
Oh, you got to ditch the bitches. That's what it is. That's what you got to do.
Hey, whoa, that too. Hey,
listen, I got a couple of emails. Let's see what the listeners want. Maybe we'll open up the phone lines here for a couple minutes. But
I want to call in. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, we can't. We can't let you call in. This is from Jesse. He says, "Hey, Billy C, I heard that Danny Garcia is going to fight Samuel Vargas. This is bullshit." He says, "What the hell is this?" And he calls himself a top fighter. Danny has no balls, doesn't care about the fans and the history of boxing, of the boxers taking on top fighters. Spence called him out, saying that Spence had to prove himself, but Garcia is fighting someone I already knocked out. He's referring to Spence. He says, Thurman also lashed out saying, "Enjoy the last cherry of the year. I'll be waiting for that green belt in 2017," as they are, trying to set up a showdown between Danny Garcia and Keith Thurman. He says, so what's my thoughts? Well, I agree with you on that, Jesse. But he's got a question. He says, this question is for Sal. He says, "Hey, Sal, will you go to the Atlanta Falcons game next year to check out their new stadium? Will you, Sal?"
Absolutely. I've never been to an Atlanta Falcons game. And, now I am in Georgia, so I do what the locals do, and we do root for the Atlanta Falcons, as well as the Atlanta Braves, as well as, the Georgia Bulldogs. But, it doesn't mean I'm still not a core, on my heart of heart, Yankees and Giants fan. I am, and I'll die that way. But, yeah, I would love to go to the Atlanta Falcons game and see what it's all about. And I would love to go, and I would make that drive, and I would do it with enthusiasm. Absolutely.
Good. I'd like to see you do that, and bring Max with you. So
I'll bring Max and me and my girlfriend.
He says, Billy C, will you watch the movie that's coming out about the great Edwin Valero? The movie is called El Inca. Yeah, Edwin Valero is a sad story. He was well on his way of being a superstar in the sport, and he took his own life several years back. And it would be interesting to see. Hopefully, it'll be an accurate movie about Edwin Valero. I would love it. As a matter of fact, I remember seeing a photo of Edwin Valero with his wife and his mom. And his mom was the hottest thing. I was like, I remember coming on the show going, damn, I wish I could go out with Edwin Valero's mom. I mean, she was, I'm older. I could say that, Sal. But she was hot, man. Jeez. Hey, Edwin Valero's mom, if you're listening, give me a call, man. I would love to, I love that look. But anyway. Let me read another email real quick.
Easy. Let's go on to the new email.
Before I get you, hey, Ms. Valero, can I have your phone number? But anyway, this one's from Joel, who happens to be in the chat room right now. Hey, remember, if you're watching or listening live,
good morning, Joel. I have no chat room ability.
Don't forget, if you're watching or listening live, and I know that there's several options for you, especially chat rooms and stuff like that. Make sure you come on over to the one that's on our website, BillyCBoxing.com. That's the one we got up, and we're looking and we communicate with you. So come on over there and enjoy yourself with some of the other hardcore boxing fans that are in the chat room now. But anyway, Joel says, hey, Billy C., it was just announced that one of the best welterweights in boxing, who always fights the best and gives it his all, and he wants me to make sure that I know that he's joking. Danny Garcia is going to fight the Canadian-based Samuel Vargas in what is called a tune-up fight on Saturday, November 12th. I know there was a possibility of John Molina Jr. being the opponent, but this is just a joke of a fight. It's almost as bad as when he fought Rod Salika a few years back. Dax posted something recently on Facebook stating, if you're the champ and you fight a C-level fighter, you as the champ should get a C-level purse. Reportedly, Heyman pressured Garcia to fight Thurman this fall, but Garcia said he wasn't ready with his long layoff, and he's going to take a pathetic tune-up fight first. At least it's a non-title fight. All I can say is what a joke. I agree with Joel on this 100%. Sal and I have been saying this. I just... you're a champion and you need a tune-up fight. Why are you staying inactive for so long? I mean, that's a sin in itself.
You go.
That's a sin in itself. You should be active enough where you don't need to take tune-up fights. But anyway, all this
we used to call them 10-round non-title defense.
Well, it's a non-title fight. The title's not on the line.
I know. I'm just teasing.
Yeah, all this talk.
I'm just going back to the old school.
All this talk.
There's no reason.
All this talk of tune-up fights. I'm thinking of tuna fish sandwich for some reason. I don't know. But he says, the article also says that this will headline a PBC card. So my second question is that the case? Will this be a PBC card? I can only imagine a network like Spike maybe doing it. I doubt Showtime's going to do it. I know you spoke about it this week, but I'm seriously curious if there'll be another PBC card again after Heyman burned through more than $500 million. Please, what's your thoughts? Yeah, it is going to. I just say it is going to be on Spike. It looks like they're trying to establish themselves for something early next year. You know what would really suck, and I think that I think that the way the PBC should have been created and done in order to create revenue would have been to have the showcase fights on network television and then come back with a pay-per-view. I think if Al Heyman had a oh my goodness thing, a come to Jesus moment, if you will, and tried to make this fight on Spike and then come back early January of 2017 or early 2017 first quarter, and then try to make the Garcia versus Keith Thurman fight a pay-per-view. Well, that would suck, because to be honest with you, Keith Thurman and Sean Porter was a much better pay-per-view fight than Danny Garcia, Keith Thurman. So I don't know, man. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. I hope he doesn't switch to pay-per-view with that fight, Sal. What do you think?
No, you laid out the good format, a nice format. That would have been great to have one on TV, the networks, and another one on the pay-per-view, and not trying to gouge people, but let it become something that would be more palatable with some good series of fights. And definitely, I think your formula would have yielded a lot more success than I think where this is now heading.
I want my formula that we've talked about to kick off 2017. But
I like that.
Anyway, final email. This one's from my man Brett from Canada. He says, "Hey Billy C and Sal, I was pleased to see the announcement that Tyson Fury voluntarily is vacating all of his titles so he can concentrate on getting the help he needs to overcome his addictions and mental health issues." Before I read any more, I'm not sure there really are any mental health issues. that maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I shouldn't say that. Maybe they're tying the drug addiction. Is it a drug addiction, or did you just get a little crazy with coke? I don't know. Let me move on.
Know. You never know what I'll tell you what. You do never know what one's demons are. We all have demons. We all have our dragons that we have to slay and we have to succumb to. And you know what? That's just part of the human race, part of the mindset, part of what you do. I'm sorry. I'm being honest. We have our demons we deal with all the time. And, some people can handle it. Some people can contain it. Some people can know how to master it.
You broke up at the end there. What'd you say?
Nothing. I was just rambling. No, I'm teasing. I said that, some people handle their demons differently. They try to slay them their own way. Some people can't rise to the occasion or overcome them strong enough mentally to do so. So they look at other venues or other avenues or other ways that they can cope with or put the dragon to sleep or so. I don't know. I don't want to get too much of my analogies here, but the bottom line is, if you need help, then go get the help. You don't have to turn to drugs. It's just an escape. It's just prolonging the inevitable that you're going to be deeper into a ditch. Go ditch digging again. Than what you're going to be able to pull yourself out of. And I am sensitive to that fact. Everybody's got their own demons. You deal with it what you can. If you need medical or professional help, then that's how you can assist and go along the way there. But the bottom line is, for these fighters to look at these crutches and everything else, then take yourself out of the game. If it's too much pressure, too much for you to handle, then just do everybody a favor and go lick your own wounds in your own corner. And when you're ready to come out and play again, then let the world know.
Anytime I'm faced with slaying a dragon, I always say to myself, what would Gollum have done in this situation? What would Frodo Baggins have done in this situation? So, but anyway.
Well, I always think of Puff the Magic Dragon. Lived in Honolulu, something like that.
He says, as for the Triple G versus Jacob Purse bid, I was really happy to see that the split will remain the way it was before at 75-25 for Triple G. You watch. This will be Jacob's way to punk out of the fight. He's using my. It's funny. He sent this email before we even had the some of the stuff on today's show. But anyway,
that's pretty good. Yeah. You know what? I think you lent him your Nostradamus hat.
I think I did. Either that or he's got the batteries. I don't. He says, you watch. This will be Jacob's way to punk out of this fight. Like I said before, he's trying to price himself out of the fight, and I'm afraid he will succeed. I agree with my man Brett, 100%. Daniel Jacobs never really wanted the fight. I think he was just trying to get some PR. Nobody wants to fight Triple G, and I can't stand all of the people that are either Floyd fans or Canelo fans that discredit Triple G. The Floyd fans and the Canelo fans all say that Triple G punked out because he didn't move up to 168 to fight Andre Ward. And the truth of the matter is,
he doesn't have to. He's the reigning middleweight champion.
And the truth of the matter is that the Floyd Mayweather Triple G dream fight is because and the only reason why Triple G fighting Floyd Mayweather, it's Floyd that would be doing the great thing by stepping up and challenging himself.
Right.
It's Floyd making the move, not Triple G. So I don't use those as even connected. Now, as far as Canelo, saying, you should move up and fight Andre Ward. Andre Ward, in case anybody in case people have forgot, in case y'all forgot, like Roy Jones Jr.'s song, Andre Ward is training, first of all, at light heavyweight, and he's fighting the best light heavyweight in the world in Sergey Kovalev in a few weeks. So, I mean, come on. Let's see what happens in that fight first before we start criticizing Triple G. All I know is guys like Canelo Alvarez and Daniel Jacobs, they're the ones that called out Triple G. They're the ones that said, I want to fight Triple G. And then they both punked out, or at least Daniel Jacobs is about to punk out. So, I mean, don't give me that crap. I can't stand it when people criticize Triple G. I can't stand it.
No, and I'm right in your corner, pal, because let me tell you something. Isn't it amazing how you have this one man, this one champion, this one legitimate 160-pound world middleweight champion that has not said a thing, has not done anything except wanting to defend his world title against the best opposition that wants to call it. And he'll do anything he could. That's why I love Triple G. By the way, did I say that's why I love Triple G? Because he is the standalone world champion that is not afraid to fight anybody to defend his 160-pound middleweight championship of the world. And you could have all these guys that want to put all the rhetoric, all the crap, all the sludge in the machine. But the bottom line is, if they wanted to fight him so bad, they would get in the ring and they would put their little humble tail between their legs and say, "Thank you, I want this fight." They're not doing that. They want to have every way out of not getting into the ring with Triple G. And they want to manipulate the media. They want to manipulate the fans. And they want to make it something else than what it is. Guess what? All right, we don't have to play the shell game when it comes to fight. You either shut up and put up, or you just wait to bow down and let the next best guy that wants to try to go for the title step up.
In defense of the fighters, because we give the fighters a lot of criticism on this show about not fighting, not being, as tough as guys from yesteryear, etc. But the truth of the matter is, the blame really, I want to defer it. I want to defer it because I don't want the fighter to take the brunt of the blame, because I believe the brunt of the blame is on three other types of people that are involved in the sport of boxing. And I think it's in this order that I'm going to say. Number one, the sanctioning bodies. Because if the sanctioning bodies didn't divide the sport up so much and separate who they call a champion and who they call contenders, etc., then, the truth of the matter is you wouldn't have guys walking around saying, well, I'm the WBA world champion, and then the other one says, well, I'm the WBC world champion, and it's like, well, I'm the WBO world champion. It's like, well, anybody got a Reese's peanut butter cup? It's like, wait a minute, but the truth of the matter is that they're the biggest problem of all of this stuff, right? The second one in line, in my opinion, is the promoter. The promoter is so afraid that their fighter is going to get beat, or that they can't sell tickets, or they can't sell it to a network, etc., that they are the lifeline, the blood flow, if you will, Sal, of the sanctioning bodies to even get checks. They're the ones that are writing the checks to these guys. Technically, they're taking the check from the fighter and then just writing their own. But, they're number two. And then the third one that causes boxing to be the way it is today is the networks themselves, the power networks, the cable networks, the HBOs and the Showtime. Well, not so much Showtime. They're pretty much run by Al Heyman. But, those power networks are the ones that feel that unless there's a fighter on a card that's got an undefeated record or a championship on the line, they don't even want to broadcast it. Remember, how critical were we of HBO referring to a fighter after he loses his fourth fight as becoming a journeyman? After 4 fights, that was ludicrous. As much as I agreed with Jim Lampley's statement on Triple G the other day, and the PBC and all of that stuff. Actually, it was totally the PBC. I totally disagree with his analogy of what the definition of a journeyman is. So I believe that the majority of the problem that we have today with fighters not fighting and everything, the fault really in this order is the sanctioning bodies, number one, the promoters, number two, the TV networks, number three, and then the fighters themselves, number four. Because, Sal, at the end of the day, if you're a fighter and you want to fight, you could go to your promoter and say, I don't care what they pay me, I want this fight, right?
Hey, guess what? That's the truth, and I know that for a fact, because that was me. The bottom line is this, and you make me, I get in touch with my sensitive side, and I reflect back to all these beautiful life experiences that God laid out for me, and I'm so grateful because I can still recall them like they were yesterday. And while you were talking about this, I remember that day I left the gym with Chicky Farrar. We were on Gleason's gym, boxing and sparring. I just got finished with Roberto Duran sparring. Freddie Brown was there. And Chicky Farrar and I were walking away on 30th Street where the Gleason's gym was. And then we're walking out to 8th Avenue. We went into the Blarney Stone. And we had a nice little luncheon. And we had coffee. And we had sandwiches. And we were talking. And that's the time when Chicky looked at me and said, Sal, you got all the tools. You could be a champion. You just got to watch out for everybody in this game. And I said, what are you talking about, Chicky? I love you. I want you to be this. He said, but I want you to remember what I'm going to tell you. He says, everybody in boxing is bad. We're all bad. You're a commodity. You got a few short years where you could do what you got to do. But everybody from the promoters, the managers, the trainers, we're all bad because you know what? We're going to look at you, we're going to use you and work you and promote you. And if you don't pan out, boom, we're going on to the next. And that's exactly it. You're a fighter is a commodity. But he's got to realize his place in history and what he can do. And he's got to be able to speak up and give a little direction and focus and drive and incentive to help focus and bring his career to the pinnacle, to the point where he is going to be happy with and sustain the level of success for a period of time because he's only got a few short years. And that's the truth. So you're right. It does come down to many, many other variables and facets in a career of a fighter that tries to fight the best and be the best he can. He's got other entities he's got to deal with. And those are the other toxic ones that don't always do what's best for boxing.
Betty bad. Betty bad.
Bad boy.
Finally, Brett says, I can only hope Samuel Vargas beats Danny Garcia. I've seen Vargas fight before a couple of times in Toronto, and he's got some skill. However, I'm not confident that he has enough skills to beat Garcia. Vargas is being brought in to lose to Garcia, so Garcia can fight Thurman next spring. I hope Vargas foils the plans. He says, by the way, I'm glad to hear that you are safe, Sal, after the hurricane, and the restaurant is opened back up without a glitch. Keep up the great work. Brett's such a nice guy.
Thank you so much.
You know,
that's so nice, and I really appreciate that. Thank you.
He's got such, Brett, I had the luxury of meeting him in person and several times. And I've talked about my dream girl happens to be his wife, but what a great family Brett has, really. And
that's
Brett,
great.
I really appreciate your interaction, and you're doing a great job at home too, my man. But anyway,
he's up in Canada.
Yeah, he's up in I think he's in Kitchener, which is north of Toronto.
All right, ask Brett if he remembers. One of my great friends in the 80s. I love the guy, and we sparred. He was a tough guy. I think he was the Canadian champion as a lightweight. His name was Remo DiCarlo. I always wonder whatever happened to Remo DiCarlo. I love the guy. He came down to Jersey a few times, and we sparred. And I've been up to Canada. In fact, one of my last United States boxing team fights, I fought Davey Hilton. You remember the Hilton brothers, Matthew and David? I fought Davey Hilton, and Davey's mother was a judge that night. I won't tell you what happened. But anyway,
I can imagine.
I love Canada, and I have some good friends up in Canada.
Yeah, you're all breaking up now again, Sal. Go back into the other area. Yeah, no, Canada's a hot boxing scene.
Yes.
They have some fighters there. They're very similar to the English boxing scene, the UK scene, where the fighters aren't afraid to fight each other. And although Canada's been a little quiet lately, I think, to be honest with you, some of the commissions up there need to be reworked. But aside from that, anyway, Sal, it's another slow week in boxing. We do have a couple of decent fights on this weekend. And the only one I really care about, I shouldn't say that I put out our challenge, but Tony Bellew is fighting BJ Flores now in the cruiserweight division. Now, BJ Flores, you've heard me say many times that he's a fantastic ringside analyst. But as a fighter inside the ring, not so much. All of the things that he says as a ringside analyst about, fighters should do this, fighters should do that, he's usually dead on. But when he fights, he's boring and safety first and everything. I think he's in a fight against Tony Bellew that he's got a chance, but I think Tony Bellew is going to come out on top. It's in the cruiserweight division. It's some kind of silver belt or something from the WBC, so we'll have to wait and see what happens with that fight. There are some other fights this week, but again, another slow week for fights, especially on TV here in the United States. So I guess we'll have to look forward to next week. And we have to look forward to you coming up with a decision on Kovalev Ward. We got people that want to come down, including my man Coach, and hopefully some others from our regular listeners will come down and do it. If not, we got to plan on how we're going to do a post-fight, because we're definitely got to do a post-fight on that no matter what.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm going to make a decision. I got to reach out and see what they're going to charge me for that fight. And, I even got some of my employees all excited about that. Heather, her ears perked up. Somebody came inside and said something about Ronda Rousey making a comeback. And I said, well, we're not going to go there, okay? Oh, easy.
Yeah, but she's, you know what? The fighter that she's fighting is actually a boxer that I called a couple of her fights. Nunez is the fighter that Ronda Rousey's returning to the cage against. And Nunez is was a boxer. So I know because I called her fight.
Nunez knocks her out again. That's fine.
Nah,
that doesn't matter.
I
don't care. I'm not into the female fight.
No, I hear you. I used to be, but not so much anymore. But
no.
Hey, Sal, you know what? We had a slow week. Hopefully next week we'll pick up. We got baseball championship series we'll get to talk about. Football tonight. We got the Broncos playing tonight against the San Diego Chargers. I like the Broncos in the game, although San Diego's been real tough until the end of the games, where they seem to fall apart and just give up games. Tonight they have an opportunity to beat the Broncos because they have their rookie quarterback starting. But I still like the Broncos in this game, and I'm picking the Broncos minus the 3 points. So little FYI
that
there.
Sounds good.
So anyway, hey Sal, you have yourself a good weekend, and I will be looking forward to Monday. And to everybody out there watching or listening or whatever, I'll leave you with this. Make sure you tune in Monday morning. Same bat time, same bat channel. Until then, ciao, baby.
Ciao.
Ciao, baby.